Are the New York Knicks looking to make a trade before we get to the 2025 NBA trade deadline? I think so. And Stefan Bondy of the New York Post shared 10 trade targets that all Knicks fans should be keeping their eyes on. We're going to break them down on this video. But first, I want to hear from all the real ones that are tuned in. What do you think is a bigger need for this New York Knicks roster right now? Do they need a wing off the bench, or do they need another big? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section. Welcome into New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody for stopping by. 10 trade targets from the New York Post and Stefan Bondy that the Knicks could trade for. Let's dive into it. And to be honest with you, to answer the question we asked at the top of the show, I think the Knicks could use a big and a wing off the bench. Probably not likely that you're going to be able to find a big and a wing in the trade market that you deem value enough or good enough, simply in Tom Thibodeau's terms, to crack his short rotation. But when I watch this team, sometimes I think they're a little light on the glass, and sometimes I think they're a little bit light on the wing defender department, especially in that game versus the Atlanta Hawks. I thought both of those weaknesses were exposed. The question really is, can Mitchell Robinson be that big off the bench that we need when he gets healthy? And when he does get healthy, can he stay healthy? If so, and Robinson comes back and he's able to give you everything he's got, play every game the rest of the season and play through the playoffs, that's a big get because we know he's a great rim protector and we know he is the best offensive rebounder in the league. I just don't put much hope into him getting healthy or staying healthy because the best way to predict the future is look at the past, and he's had a lot of injury issues in the past. We got 10 center targets, though, to break down, and let's start with the scoring big man from the Chicago Bulls, Nikola Vucevic. And remember, with the new CBA that the NBA has, the only way you could talk trades is if you talk money. And for the Knicks to make a trade happen, they have to be sending out more money than acquiring. So you're going to see the contract of every player that we talk about down below. And Nikola Vucevic, he makes $20 million. The only way you're going to be able to make that trade happen is if you package both Mitchell Robinson, who makes $14 million, and Precious Achiuwa, who makes $6 million. So the question really is, are you trading Precious and Mitch for Nikola Vucevic? I would not. I'm not sure that Vooch is a Tom Thibodeau guy. Extremely skilled, can score all over the floor, but I think the Knicks will be looking for someone a little bit cheaper on the salary when you stack up the talent and the value to Mitch and Precious. Isaiah Stewart is another name mentioned by Stefan Bondy. A little bit smaller of a player at 6'8", but he's got really broad shoulders and he plays with a lot of strength and ferocity. And he's been shooting the three ball this year as well. Over the last couple years, he's added that to his game. So you get a guy that brings some size and also some offensive versatility. He makes $15 million, though, which is more than Mitch. And you would have to include Mitch and Precious, or Mitch and maybe a young guy. I'm not really in the boat of making that deal happen. Mark Williams is somebody that I would be very interested in. When the Knicks played the Charlotte Hornets the last couple of times in the last couple of weeks, I was impressed with his offensive ability. I think he could play a little bit smaller than his size, gives sometimes, but he is someone that I think the Knicks could make a move for. Makes $4 million this year, so if you wanted to make a deal, you could send out Precious and get back Mark Williams, or maybe you pair a couple of the young players on this roster, the rookies, if you don't want to trade anyone in the core, which I don't think the Knicks want to, and you can make that deal happen. Daniel Theis was another name mentioned by the New York Post. Theis on a 2-year deal right now with the New Orleans Pelicans. Their team is falling apart, literally. None of their stars have all played a game together this year. He's a veteran. He's a good pick and roll player. But at 6'8", 245 pounds, I just personally do not think that he is a needle mover for the New York Knicks, and I'm not giving up anyone of value for Daniel Theis. I would just rather wait until the buyout market, when he is most likely going to be bought out, and other veterans would as well. A name that really piqued my interest in the list that Bondy mentioned was Andre Drummond. He was a guy that I really wanted the Knicks to go out and pursue in free agency and sign them themselves. He signed a 2-year, $10 million deal, 5 in each year. And maybe you could do a deal with Precious and one of the rookies that you selected this year to get that deal done, and I wouldn't hate it. Drummond is one of the best rebounders in the NBA. He's got more 20 rebound games than almost anybody that is active in the league right now, and he would give you some size and another guy that you could put on other big men if and when Karl Anthony Towns get in foul trouble. And I think you could even play Andre Drummond and Karl Anthony Towns together at one time. But if you trade for Drummond and Mitch comes back, you really have an an excess of players that do the same thing, so maybe it's 2 trades coming. You add Drummond, then you trade Robinson for somebody else. Drummond's someone to keep your eyes on, though, someone I would love to add to this New York Knicks squad. We got a couple more players to talk about around the corner. First, though, I got to tell you guys about our proud sponsor, Game Time. If you're looking to buy tickets to a sporting event, a concert, a theater event, or a comedy show coming up, download the Game Time app and use that promo code ChatSports, and you're going to get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. I love Game Time, and I'm a returning customer because I know that Game Time takes care of their customers. They make sure you get the best seats for the lowest price guaranteed. Prices of the events actually drop when the events get closer. So if you're a procrastinator like I am, you're going to love Game Time. And if you use the features like all-in pricing as well as the Game Time picks, you are guaranteed you get the lowest price. Also, super awesome features. They're going to alert you. They call them flash deals when prices are dropping. And it's so easy to decide, do I want to sit here? Do I want to sit here when you're looking at the app? Because they give you different views from the seat when you're deciding which seats you want to purchase. So be a real one. Support the show. Support the sponsor. So download the app, create an account, and use that promo code ChatSports, that's ChatSports, for $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. What time is it? It's game time. Alrighty, Nick Richards is a name that's been floated around as a New York Knicks trade target for a long, long time. We heard about this early in the summer last year, and we're hearing about it once again. And this is someone that I do have on my list. Makes $5 million this year, and he is someone that maybe you package Precious Achiuwa and maybe McCullough Jr. together, or maybe, which I haven't said this yet, maybe my favorite trade out there right now, Mitchell Robinson for Nick Richards and Cody Martin. You get a big and you get a wing, and you don't have to type B or W of which one's a bigger need because you fill both of those. That's my number one likely trade that I like to see the Knicks make. Richards, a versatile big, having his best season in the NBA, averaging 11.5 points per game, almost 10 rebounds. He's a skilled player. He's got a little baby jump shot, and he's big enough to bang down low. Pause. I like him on this team, and we'll see if they can make that move. Jonas Valanciunas, the veteran scoring big man. If you follow this channel and you're subscribed, you knew that the Knicks were all in on signing Jonas Valanciunas this offseason. Then OG Anunoby asked for a little bit too much money, and they could not get it done. But the Knicks still like Valanciunas. I've heard to keep your eyes on him. And at $9.9 million, you could trade Robinson to Washington for Valanciunas and even accept like $3 million more in incoming money. So maybe you get another player on top. Very skilled offensive big. He could shoot the outside shot. He's got a face-up game. He could score with his back to the basket. Not the best defender, but someone that I do think would add legitimate skill off the bench at that center position for this squad. Another player is Robert Williams III, the Time Lord. We've talked about him a handful of times on this channel. At $12.4 million, it would most likely be Robinson going out and Robert Williams coming in. Look, if this guy's healthy, he's one of the best defenders in the NBA. He's finished in the top votes of the Defensive Player of the Year award before with the Boston Celtics. He was a key piece on some of those deep playoff runs, but the injuries have always derailed him from hitting the peak of his career. I don't know if I want to trade an injury-prone Mitchell Robinson for another injury-prone player. I like him, but I'm not so sure. Walker Kessler, the talk of the town. This one's been mentioned for a couple of months now at this point. Makes $2.9 million, still on that rookie scale contract. And he kind of gives you what Mitchell Robinson does without the injury baggage and some of the other things that Mitchell Robinson brings with him as a part of your basketball team. Rumors came out this summer, though, the Jazz wanted 2 first-round picks from the Knicks. Knicks only have 1 to trade now. I think this would be a little bit steep when it comes to the price point for Leon Rose to pull off. Love the value and love the idea of adding him to the team. I'm just not sure that Danny Ainge, the worst negotiator work within the NBA, is going to lower the price for Kessler to the Knicks. Jakob Poeltl, the next player, I think the last player we're talking about on today's show, 7'1", 245 pounds of the Toronto Raptors. The most, I would say, skilled, talented, and really it would be a home run swing for the New York Knicks. At $19.5 million, it would have to be Precious and Mitchell Robinson going out, and you would add Jakob Poeltl, who could score it, he could dish it, he can rebound it, he's an average defender, he's kind of a playmaking hub like Isaiah Hartenstein was for the New York Knicks and for the Thunder this year. If the Knicks want to swing big, and they want to add a big-time player at that center position off the bench, Jakob Poeltl would be the guy you have in your sights. We went through 10 players on today's show. Pick one. Or name another player. We'll talk about wings later on the channel. Wanted to focus on the big men with Stefan Bondy making that article. Shout out to him, one of the best on the beat. Go give him a follow, support his content. But name a player you want the Knicks to trade for. And if you want to continue the conversation about the Knicks and some trade targets, I'm down. Hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up on IG. Send me a message, and let's talk some hoops.